What happens when you gather your generals, coordinate with foreign military officers, and plan operations from what you believe is an impenetrable underground command post deep inside Russian territory? The answer came screaming through the sky over Kursk Oblast at nearly the speed of sound, delivered by approximately 15 British Storm Shadow missiles that turned Russia's supposed sanctuary into a tomb. Picture the scene. Senior Russian military officers gathered in an underground command facility in Kursk, a region of Russia itself, not occupied Ukraine, but actual Russian sovereign territory. These weren't frontline troops in vulnerable positions. These were high-ranking commanders planning operations from what should have been absolute safety. Reports even suggested North Korean military officers were present, coordinating the deployment of thousands of DPRK troops to fight alongside Russian forces. The room represented a concentration of military leadership that any adversary would consider a dream target. And then Ukrainian intelligence identified the location. Ukrainian commanders made the calculation, and 15 Storm Shadow cruise missiles launched on a mission that would demonstrate something terrifying to every Russian officer. If Ukraine can hit you in Kursk, they can hit you anywhere. The target, why this strike mattered. Let's understand what makes this particular attack so significant, because hitting a command post isn't just about destroying a building. It's about decapitating enemy command and control at the most critical moment. By late 2024, Russia had suffered a humiliating incursion into Kursk Oblast. Ukrainian forces had crossed the international border and seized Russian territory, the first time foreign forces had occupied Russian soil since World War II. The psychological and political impact was devastating for Putin. Russian propaganda had spent years claiming the special military operation was going according to plan, that Russian military superiority was overwhelming, that Ukraine was on the verge of collapse. Ukrainian troops occupying Russian territory shattered all those narratives. Russia's response required coordination between multiple military formations, intelligence services, and remarkably, thousands of North Korean soldiers that Kim Jong-un had sent to support Putin's war effort. This coordination required command posts where senior officers could plan operations, analyze intelligence, and direct forces. Underground command facilities seemed like the obvious choice. These hardened bunkers, built deep beneath the surface, were designed to survive artillery strikes, aerial bombardment, even nuclear attacks. Soviet-era military doctrine emphasized protecting command elements in reinforced underground structures that could withstand tremendous punishment. Russian commanders apparently believed these facilities made them invulnerable to Ukrainian strikes. After all, Ukraine was supposedly running out of weapons, barely holding on, incapable of striking deep into Russian territory. These officers were hundreds of kilometers from the Ukrainian border, protected by layers of air defense operating from underground bunkers built to Cold War specifications. They were wrong on every count. Storm Shadow, the bunker buster that flies. To understand why this strike succeeded, we need to talk about what makes Storm Shadow uniquely capable of destroying hardened underground targets. This isn't your average cruise missile. It's a precision weapon specifically designed to penetrate and destroy exactly the kind of facilities Russia was using. The Storm Shadow Scalp missile represents decades of Western military engineering focused on one problem. How do you destroy targets that are buried, hardened, and heavily protected? The British-French development program created a weapon that combines long-range precision guidance and a specialized warhead designed for penetration. Here's what makes Storm Shadow perfect for this mission. The missile carries a brooch, Bomb Royal Ordnance Augmented Charge warhead, a sophisticated two-stage penetrator. The first charge blasts through concrete, steel, and earth. Milliseconds later, the main warhead detonates inside the structure, maximizing damage to internal spaces. It's specifically engineered to destroy underground bunkers. The missile's range, over 250 kilometers, with the export variant, potentially more with versions supplied to Ukraine, meant it could be launched from Ukrainian-controlled territory and reach deep into Kursk Oblast. The guidance system combining GPS, terrain reference navigation, and infrared terminal homing provided accuracy measured in meters. Each missile could be programmed to hit a specific aim point on the target, and Ukraine launched approximately 15 of them at once. The mathematics of overwhelming force. Why 15 missiles instead of 1 or 2? This question reveals sophisticated Ukrainian targeting and operational planning. First, redundancy against defense. Russian air defense systems in Kursk would certainly attempt to intercept incoming missiles. Launching multiple Storm Shadows simultaneously overwhelms defensive capacity. Even if Russian air defenses shoot down several missiles, others will get through. You saturate the defenses beyond their ability to engage all threats. Second, distributed impact points. Multiple missiles striking different aim points ensure comprehensive destruction. You're not just hoping to hit the target, you're ensuring you destroy it completely. Third, defeating hardened construction. Even penetrating warheads don't always defeat heavily reinforced concrete with a single hit. Multiple impacts on the same structure accumulate damage, with each penetration weakening the overall integrity. Successive strikes break what individual missiles might only crack. Fourth, psychological and propaganda impact. 1 or 2 missiles might be dismissed as lucky hits. 15 missiles represents overwhelming capability, a statement that Ukraine can mass precision fires against any target they choose. The reported strike package of 15 Storm Shadows represented somewhere between $30 to $45 million worth of missiles, at roughly $2 to $3 million per weapon. For comparison, the command post contained multiple Russian generals and reportedly North Korean officers, each representing decades of training, institutional knowledge, and command authority that cannot be quickly replaced. From a cost-benefit analysis, trading $30 to $45 million in missiles to eliminate multiple senior enemy commanders and disrupt operations in a critical sector is an extraordinary bargain. The intelligence war, finding underground targets. So how did Ukraine know where to strike? Identifying and targeting underground command facilities requires intelligence capabilities that most militaries struggle to develop. Human intelligence likely played a crucial role. Someone, Russian military personnel, local civilians, signals intercepts, provided information about the command post's location. Signals intelligence would have been critical. Command posts emit enormous amounts of electromagnetic radiation. Modern SIGINT can analyze these emissions to identify command facilities even when they're underground. The Russians needed to communicate with their forces, and those communications betrayed their location. Satellite and aerial reconnaissance probably provided confirmation. While you can't see through Earth with optical satellites, you can observe surface features associated with underground facilities. Intelligence analysts piece together these indicators to confirm targets. Pattern of life analysis helps pinpoint critical moments. Ukrainian intelligence apparently identified a time when the facility contained maximum high-value personnel and struck accordingly. The sophistication required to execute this targeting should not be underestimated. This wasn't firing missiles at a visible building. This was identifying a hidden underground facility, confirming its occupancy by high-value targets, and coordinating a complex strike package with precise timing. The strike, when precision meets violence. Imagine being in that underground command post when the first Storm Shadow hit. You're in what you believe is one of the safest locations in Russia. The facility was built to withstand nuclear war. You're surrounded by meters of reinforced concrete and earth. And then the world explodes. The first penetrator smashes through whatever surface protection exists. The initial charge detonates, blasting a crater and fracturing the concrete above the facility. Microseconds later, the main warhead explodes, sending massive overpressure waves through the underground spaces. Personnel inside experience devastating blast effects amplified by the enclosed environment. And this happens not once, but 15 times in rapid succession. Each missile finds its programmed impact point. The underground complex, designed to protect against external threats, becomes a death trap as blast waves reflect off walls and compressed overpressure seeks every opening. The very features meant to provide protection amplify the destructive effects. The body count, when leadership dies. While exact casualty figures remain classified or disputed, reports suggest multiple Russian generals and North Korean military officers were killed in the strike. These aren't numbers on a spreadsheet. Each represents a catastrophic loss to Russian and North Korean command structures. Generals don't appear overnight. A general officer represents 25, 30 years of military service, progressive responsibility, institutional knowledge, and proven leadership. Losing multiple generals simultaneously creates immediate command chaos and long-term capability gaps. If Kursk wasn't safe, what about here? If 15 Storm Shadows can destroy an underground bunker, what can stop them from hitting us? The answer keeps Russian commanders awake at night, because it's the same answer that echoes through every Ukrainian strike. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. If you found this analysis of Ukraine's devastating strike on Russian command compelling, smash that like button and subscribe for more content covering modern warfare's most significant operations. Drop your thoughts in the comments. How will Russia adapt to Ukraine's deep strike capabilities?